In the last live stream, me and my husband Justin answered to the question, how long does it take to get to know a Japanese person to decide to get married? This is a very difficult question to answer, but Justin actually pointed out some cultural aspects to consider as a foreigner who lived in Japan for almost a decade. We also shared our own experience and some advice, of course, so if you are curious, keep on watching.
That's a great question, actually.
そうだね。
That's a tough one. So the reason that's an inspired question is because a lot of Japanese people tend to be pretty guarded. They have layers of like masks that they just take off bit by bit, and depending on the person, they might just be pretty straightforward about who they are. So I've met some people like that, and they're really easy to get along with. And then you have some people who are so guarded that they will never show you who they really are. I think this exists in every culture, right? But I think particularly in Japan, where you have like very defined friend groups that never kind of overlap. You have your childhood friends, your middle school friends, your high school friends, your university friends, you have your work friends, and they never overlap, and people are all like changing masks and changing hats all the time. You might just be part of their foreigner friend group, and you never know what they're like around their other friends. So it really depends on the person. But if it's in a romantic sort of way, you feel like they're not showing you who they really are, maybe they're just not for you.
For some people, it just takes time. It depends on the person. But I think I've told you before because our marriage was pretty quick, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And then sometimes some people be critical. Oh, that's too soon to get married. You guys going so wrong. But for us, particularly in particular situation, we are kind of experienced.
Yeah.
We have experiences, and then we knew what we wanted in our lives, and we knew it's gonna match.
Right. People who are overly critical like that, I'd be curious to know how old they are and what their experiences are, because somebody has an ideal of what marriage should be that they haven't really been in a relationship long enough to know that, you know, reality is kind of different. And when you know, you know.
Yeah. まあね。
Yeah.
本当に it really depends.
Yeah.
It really depends on the person, age, experiences.
If you have only traveled to Japan like as a vacation, or if you've only seen Japan through media like anime or something like that, it gets really easy to just say like Japanese people are all this way, right? Or Americans are all this way, or whoever it is, right? But like there's so many different people here. So many different people with so many different personalities, with so many different interests. Many people have many different lifestyles. So just you'll know when you know. I know that's not a good answer to the question, but just like meet a bunch of people and get a feel for it.
So there's a statistics in Japan that says first few relationships are basically for you to decide what you want. And people tend to get married to a person in the third or fourth relationships because first few relationships, they know what to expect. They learn what to expect, they learn what they want in the future relationships. And then once they know, they get married to the next partner that they choose. So yeah, just meet a lot of people, learn how people think, and then learn what you want in your life, and then that decides how long to get to know someone. I think,
And it's not easy, man.
Yeah. It's not easy.
Not easy. It's you know, going through relationships. It's not like trying on new clothes, right? There's a lot of emotions involved and attachments and these kinds of things. So, you know, but after going through that, you know what you want, and you got a very good idea of what works and what doesn't. Because of that, you know, the difficulties that you probably experienced in those relationships.
Good question. Good advice.
Yeah.
As we discussed, it really depends on your situation, and it also depends on her situation. Is she mature enough? Is she actually ready? You really have to qualify her too. And sometimes it's hard to think about it just by yourself. So if you would like dating advice, please talk to me on my Wingwoman dating advice service so that I can help you. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! you.